There's a kind of life no one warns you about. It doesn't fall apart. It doesn't explode. It doesn't collapse in any obvious way. It just settles. You wake up one morning and realize your days look predictable. Your conversations repeat themselves. Your ambitions feel quieter than they used to. Nothing is wrong, and yet something is missing. I've noticed this pattern not in failures, but in people who did everything right. They worked hard. They stayed reasonable. They avoided unnecessary risks. And still, somehow, they ended up standing still while life moved on. This isn't about motivation. It's not about discipline. And it's definitely not about talent. It's about three traits that look harmless, even admirable, but quietly keep people stuck. Most people never notice them because from the outside, they don't look like problems at all. Waiting to be understood. There's a belief many thoughtful people carry without realizing it. If I do good work long enough, someone will eventually notice. It sounds fair. It feels mature. It feels ethical. And early in life, it sometimes works. But the world doesn't run on fairness. It runs on visibility. I've watched capable people stay silent in meetings, assuming clarity would speak for itself. It rarely does. History is full of people who learned this the hard way. Galileo wasn't reckless. He wasn't loud. He wasn't trying to challenge power. He believed truth, once clearly shown, would be accepted. It wasn't. When truth threatened structure, being right became dangerous. Galileo didn't suffer because he lacked courage. He suffered because truth without leverage is fragile, and that lesson still applies today. In offices, in relationships, in creative work, people wait to be understood. They wait to be recognized. They wait for permission. And waiting slowly becomes an identity. I'm just not the type to promote myself. I don't want to seem pushy. I trust things will unfold, but silence doesn't protect you. It only makes you easier to overlook. Patience, that turns into hiding. There's another trait that keeps people stuck, and this one is even harder to notice because society praises it. It's called patience, but not the intentional kind, not the strategic kind. This is passive patience, the kind that waits without direction. I've met people who have been patient for 10 years, patient in the same job, patient in the same relationship, patient with the same quiet dissatisfaction. They tell themselves, it's not the right time yet. I just need to be more prepared. I'll move when things settle down. Years pass. Nothing settles. They become very good at enduring and very bad at choosing. And the danger is subtle because endurance feels like strength. It feels mature. It feels responsible. It feels safer than action. But patience without movement isn't wisdom. It's avoidance wearing a calm face. I once worked with someone who was clearly capable, smart, thoughtful, respected. Every year he talked about making a change. Every year he said, after this project, after this phase, after things are more stable. One day I realized something unsettling. 10 years had passed. His life hadn't collapsed, but it hadn't expanded either. He wasn't trapped by circumstances. He was trapped by waiting. History gives us a sharper example. Viktor Frankl survived the Holocaust. That fact alone gives weight to his words. But what made his work endure wasn't survival. It was observation. In the camps, Frankl noticed something disturbing. The people who survived the longest weren't always the strongest. They were the ones who still had a direction, a reason to endure, a future to imagine. Those who simply waited, who endured without purpose, often broke first. Frankl understood something most people miss. Waiting only works when it's tied to movement. Patience only works when it has a direction. Most of us aren't in extreme conditions, but we are still waiting. Waiting for clarity, waiting for confidence, waiting for certainty. And life rarely offers those things in advance. Passive patience doesn't protect you. It slowly teaches you to accept a life that no longer fits. Moral comfort over honest truth. The third trait is the most dangerous because it feels virtuous. It's choosing moral comfort over uncomfortable truth. People tell themselves, at least I'm not greedy. At least I stayed decent. At least my intentions were good. And intentions do matter, but the world doesn't run on intentions. It runs on outcomes. I've seen people stay in situations that shrink them, not because they're powerless, but because leaving would challenge their self-image. Leaving would mean admitting, I stayed too long. I tolerated too much. I avoided the hard choice. So instead, they stay morally comfortable. They criticize from a distance. They judge quietly. They feel superior without changing anything. This kind of comfort is seductive. It allows you to feel right without becoming effective. And effectiveness, not goodness, is what actually shapes a life. George Bernard Shaw once said, "The reasonable man adapts himself to the world. The unreasonable one persists in trying to adapt the world to himself. Therefore, all progress depends on the unreasonable man." Most people misunderstand this. They think unreasonable means aggressive or selfish. It doesn't. It means refusing to hide behind moral correctness when truth demands action. Moral comfort keeps people small. Truth, when acted upon, changes things. And choosing truth often costs you comfort. Why these traits are so hard to see. Here's why these traits rarely trigger alarm bells. They don't create chaos. They create stability. A quiet life can look respectable. A limited life can look peaceful. From the outside, everything seems fine. But from the inside, something slowly fades. Curiosity dulls. Urgency disappears. Risk feels unnecessary. And regret doesn't arrive dramatically. It arrives quietly. As a question you avoid asking, is this really the life I chose? Most people don't fail loudly. They fade quietly. The moment people wake up, I've noticed something interesting. People rarely wake up because things go wrong. They wake up when things stay the same for too long. When the job is stable but empty. When the relationship is calm but lifeless. When the routine works but no longer means anything. That's when the discomfort begins. Not panic, not crisis. Just a low-grade awareness that life is moving. And you're standing still. This moment is uncomfortable, and most people rush to silence it. They distract themselves. They rationalize. They tell themselves they should be grateful. But this discomfort is not the enemy. It's the signal. What movement actually looks like. Movement doesn't mean becoming loud. It doesn't mean becoming ruthless. And it doesn't mean abandoning your values. It means clarity. Clarity about what no longer fits. Clarity about what you've outgrown. Clarity about what you've been avoiding. Movement often starts quietly, with one honest sentence. This isn't working anymore. With one uncomfortable action. Speaking when you usually stay silent. Leaving when you usually endure. Choosing differently than you did before. Small movements compound. Silence compounds too. The difference is where they lead. The question that matters most. So here's the question worth sitting with. Where in your life are you waiting to be understood instead of choosing clarity? Where are you calling comfort patience? And where are you protecting your self-image at the cost of forward movement? You don't need to answer these out loud. You just need to be honest, because awareness is the moment stagnation loses its power. The quiet decision. This isn't about becoming someone else. It's about becoming honest with who you already are. Life doesn't trap most people. They slowly agree to smaller versions of it, and then forget they ever had a choice. If this reflection feels uncomfortable, that's a good sign. It means something in you is still awake. This channel exists for people who notice these patterns quietly and decide not to live inside them forever. Not dramatically, not loudly, but deliberately.